So the students will take 100, 200 level courses, 300 level courses, and then they will start using the packages, which will give them more a powerful way of utilizing that. So it's a question that should be constantly asked, and then changes should be always done, not in a way to disturb the curriculum, of course, but it's something related to the era we are living in, which is subjected to continuous changes.
The fifth question, is the course level appropriately targeted for the abilities of the student when they begin? It comes back to the previous, when we were talking about fact and myth.
Yes.
What's the difference? Are they prepared? Is the preparatory years preparing our student to come? So again, it's an interval.
And sometimes you don't cover the whole curriculum in certain courses. Is this okay? When those students go to the next course, will the faculty start from where they stopped in this course or where they are supposed to stop? And what about that gap that has not been covered? Will they cover it somewhere?
What is, again, the sixth question, with what degree of consistency do different sections of a course achieve similar outcomes?
Yeah. So different academics have different ways of delivering the material. And sometimes this could cause distortion in parallel sections. You find students attracted more towards one academic over another, or attracted more to one section over another. And you want to decrease the discrepancy as minimal as possible. So you have to have some probes that are measuring the discrepancy between parallel sections. And that gap must be reduced to the minimal so that this will give fairness to all students.
And finally, how well is the course fulfilling its purpose in a larger curriculum?
Okay, how well the course is fulfilling its purpose in the larger curriculum. And this course, how is it integrated with the whole curriculum? Is it efficient enough? Is it giving what it's supposed to give or not? And then I see that you have here, this is a microscope glass slide.
Yes, no, that's a bullseye.
Okay.
That says level 1 has the
is in the middle, and then you go concentrically to level 2.
To level 2.
And then level 3 with all the questions and
then 4 and 5 as you go.
So in order to cover level 5, you have to start, and you have a good starting point, and also at level 1 and level 2 and then level 3. Thank you very much. Please serve yourself for the chocolates, and they deserve an applause. Okay, this takes us to level 4. Level 4 group, please. Is it finished? I have another bag. Okay. Hopefully don't complain that you have diabetes. Okay, so level 4 questions.
Okay, so we stick to the requests.
Okay.
You request to arrange or
just depict it.
Questions.
Yes.
Okay, not to answer them.
No.
This is what we did.
No.
Okay, so we arranged our question as levels.
Okay.
Dependency levels.
Okay.
So we start with the and we make rearrangement of these
Questions.
6 questions.
So it will match your pyramid.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. The base question 1. Does the courses?
So the base of the pyramid is question number 1, which is
program courses.
Do program courses individually and collectively contribute to its outcomes and plans? Is the courses integrated together contribute to the plan or to the intended learning, the intended outcomes of the program or not? Okay.
After that, question 5 comes. Does the course organization contribute to cumulative learning?
Yeah, we know learning is cumulative. It's like a building block. You build learning block by block. So So the next question, after thinking about are the courses coherent enough and integrated enough to give me the outcomes, I am thinking about is the courses building or the building blocks, the small courses within a program, are they, let's say, forming a good wall, or are they distorted? So you have a big gap here, you have a big gap there, and you know if the building is not well established, you know, we have civil engineers here, so they can talk about this even better than me. But if it's not well organized, it is subjected for collapse. Sooner or later, the knowledge will collapse. So there are certain gaps that are not filled by a building block, and we have to find these gaps and fill them with building blocks. Okay.
These were the questions related to courses.
Okay.
Then we...
So you put them in brown because they are related to courses.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then we move to the program-related questions.
Okay.
And finally to the institution-related questions.
Okay.
For the program-related question, we have question number 3.
Question number 3.
The program subcategories achieve the overall purposes.
So these are the service courses. So are the service courses functioning in the way we want them or not? I'll tell you one example. It's a specific engineering example, but we have this dilemma and we have this chat going on now for more than 4 years.
Actually, Doctor, we have a problem understanding this word. What is meant by program subcategories?
The service courses, supportive courses, like for example computer application, physics, chemistry for engineering.
For example.
Yeah, non-departmental courses. So let me tell you this. Now, in engineering, we have a common course for all engineering students called computer programming. And they are taught to program with a language. First, they started with Fortran. Then they moved to Pascal. Now they are teaching them C++. The problem is that modern packages comes with programming languages on their own. For example, we have an engineering package called MATLAB, which contains a programming language by its own. So we were struggling with the College of IT. We were telling the College of IT, because this course is delivered by the College of IT. We are telling them, don't teach them C++, teach them MATLAB programming. The College of IT is responding back, well, C++ is a lower level language. MATLAB is a more advanced or a higher level language. And the students should form the way of thinking or the programming using a lower level language. So that's why, and then still the debate is going on. We think, no, we should move into the new packages, because the students will not apply this language that they are learning. Then they will join some courses and you have to teach them again the other programming language, and the College of IT is defending that. What will settle this argument is the evidence that we gather at this level. If we gather an evidence that says that teaching them a low-level language is much efficient for them, and this will give them the concept that they can learn any language, if the evidence says that, then we should keep what we are doing now. If the evidence says no, they can learn a higher level language, still know how to do logic programming, and it is much beneficial for them because they will be using this language throughout their academic life and once they graduate. So gathering evidence at this level will answer these kinds of questions. And I'm sure if I open the opportunity, you will have something similar to that in your programs. There are some service courses which you feel that if they have changed or modified, it will help the students better. So this question will answer this concern.
Okay, then we go to question number 2. Does the program serve the purposes of the entire curriculum?
Okay.
Okay, and after that, does the program design serve the expected outcomes or achieve the expected outcomes
of the program?
Of course, we start with the curriculum and then go to the outcomes.
To the outcomes. Okay.
Depending or higher than curriculum.
The curriculum, yes.
Then we move to the
question 6.
Question: does the program fulfill the institution goals?
Okay. Is it serving the community? Because this is the aim of the Higher Education Institute, delivering service to the community. So does this course deliver the service to the community? Do the community benefit from all the things that put together? And you can see the types of questions, the nature of questions cannot be addressed on their own. We come now, the things become much more intangible than level 1 and level 2 and maybe level 3. Level 1, level 2 are much more tangible. Here we are talking about intangible things. But you cannot reach this level without doing a good job in level 1, level 2 and level 3. So once you reach this level, which is level 4, you should have enough data to answer these questions and compile the or measure the intangibles that are represented by this question. Thank you very much. And you may have some chocolates as a reward for doing the thinking. You know, chocolates got sugar and sugar helps thinking. We still have one more activity. So we need you to be at your full attention. Okay. Group 5, would you like to come here? Okay. Yes. So you have level 5.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm representing level 5. My colleagues and me have discussed this, and we have written about this. And this is about the assessment of the institution. And so the first question goes like this: what do the institutional education programs add up to in terms of student learning? Okay. What we get is that we have my colleagues and we are here more than some 5-6 years, and we have seen that there is gradually improvement in the students' performance in all areas, not only in education. Okay, and the student is capable of getting A+, and the level of aspiration increases as we give more inspiration to the students. Okay, and the next question goes like this: how well are the institution's goals and outcomes for students' learning being achieved? Okay, how well the outcomes are achieved?
At the level of the institution, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
And so you see, according to this, so far we were aiming for 2020, and here you see we have reached the university goal, the mission and the vision is almost accomplished. Okay, that is attaining excellency. That's what even I see over the past 6 years. The first year the students were little on the lower side. I cannot underestimate them, but yet as years went by, they have done a tremendous improvement, and we can say that they excel in everything. Okay, and so they are almost the steps goes up like this. And the third question is, how much have students learned over their college years?
But we are talking here about collective students. All the students from all the colleges, from all the parts and portions of the university in a whole, are they learning or not? And you can see that this question is so vague that it cannot be answered without proper data from all the 4 levels before them.
Yes. So you see, as a teacher, I have seen them that even the poor students can be improved to a greater extent. Okay. See, for example, you see, by God's grace, I have completed 25 years of experience in teaching in the college. But how I do is, by God's grace, I have done my education as well, other than my PhD. So I teach physics for the engineering students and for the computer science students. My eyes are particularly focused towards the weak students. Okay, so I identify the weak students and make them sit in the front, and I tell them I won't say that they are poor. I will with much love I will call them. I'll know their names and I call them. Please come and sit in the front. See, there you all are. They will sit right under my eye, under my nose, and I tell them, see, you all are my VIPs, okay, so you will do very well, you all will get A+, like that I used to tell them. I do the problem solving, and I encourage these students to come to the front and do the thing. I used to tell them, don't worry, you just come, even if you don't know, don't worry, I will be there with you, okay, so they come and do, and I see that even the dullest of the students, they all clear their thing, okay? And every time you see in physics department, it's the greatest thing, okay? When they put the results, earlier I was taking computer science students, after that I was taking for both engineering as well as computer science students. So when they see the level, see from A+ it goes like this, my students, okay? It goes like this. And for the rest of the, I shouldn't put them down, but they used to say, when they put a mind, they always say, oh, no, like they make a loud noise. But just it is a simple, no, but maybe because I have done my BA, I'm putting a little more of the stress in them, no? All the skills. They have got some 5 skills. Maybe on another day I can tell you about, discuss about it. I use all the 5 skills and make the 4 students to come up, okay, that's it. And coming to the fourth question, how well does the institution educate students for the complexities of the 21st century?
So that's what we were talking about this early morning, about the soft skills and how the students are not well equipped to these skills. So we need to incorporate these skills. I can give you one example from our department. When I was a student, I studied in the same department which I am working now. When I was a student, we were only to give one presentation throughout the whole 4 years of academic life. One presentation for the senior project. That's it. So the exposure to communication skill is limited. Only one report, one presentation, that's it. Now we have more than 6 courses that have presentation as part of the assessment that the students have to deliver. So we incorporated more soft skills, communication skills in our courses because we want to prepare the students for what to come next when they graduate. And so on. So this is one type of skill, which is communication skills, but there are many other skills that should be incorporated one way or another in the courses.
Okay. See, to be frank, just 2 minutes I'll explain. This is quite important for followers. First of all, you see, you should not start with this as for a topic, okay? You have to go around, okay? Go around and you should try to elicit the topic from the student. And then you should put the topic on the screen. See, for example, I tell you, when I did my B.Ed, okay, so my teacher was saying that somebody was about to take a coffee, it seems. So she asked put the question before the students, what do you drink in the morning? Each one was saying something. I drink tea, I drink milk, I drink Coca-Cola, I drink. But none of the one was saying about, I take coffee. So the student teacher started to cry. And my teacher was saying, it's just simple. You should have said, okay, you take all these things, but I take coffee and put the topic on the board, okay, like that. That is skill of writing on the blackboard, okay. Like that you have other skills, skill of questioning, skill of explanation, and skill of motivation, and skill of conclusion. Like that you can put all these things if you follow the skill, and then review is very important. By the end of the hour, within 5 minutes, you should keep for review. You should review all what you taught in the 5 minutes, then the students will have a clear understanding, and you should tell them, insist that you learn it today itself, it will be recorded in your mind.
Can we go to question 5?
Yes, question number 5 is, what evidence is there that the institution is fulfilling its institutional...
and again, this question depends on all the other levels. Question 6.
Yeah, so how can institution effectiveness be demonstrated authentically to external scale?
And you used Vision 2030 as a way of expressing the external stakeholders, because Vision 2030 is imposing a high restriction. You know, we are moving from a resourceful, every organization, every institution within the within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia used to have a abundance of resources. The 2030 is saying no more. Every organization will work according to the demanded resources. There will be no abundance anymore. And this is imposing more restriction. You know, the economy is moving from depending on petroleum products into a production economy or productive economy, which necessitate that more and more strict put into the resources, and the resources is fully utilized and fully managed. So thank you very much.
There's one more question.
Yes.
There. It's about how can the institutional effectiveness be
Yeah.
demonstrated authentically to external stakeholders.
Stakeholders. Yes.
Yeah, stakeholders. I'm sure the students of KFU, I know that with my experience, I see the progress that they make, they can very well compete with the UK and US students, very well, okay? Yes, so especially, I do not know about other subjects, but in physics, okay, we keep the standard very high that they can very well do the problem solving and circuit analysis, all this, they do well. So you see, so they become emotionally balanced, spiritually oriented, socially committed, and intellectually skilled individuals.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this takes us to the last activity. And I'm going to give you more because this is finished. The last activity, which is on page 7. Now, we know the 4 levels of, the 5 levels of assessment, and the question is, how do you approach each level? So, because of the lack of the time, we don't have time to cover all the levels.
I also give them chocolates.
Thank you very much.
No, the students.
Yes.
Okay? I tell them, I put a circuit and tell them, if you do the correct answer, I will give you all chocolates. If you don't do correctly, you all should give me chocolates. So they do.
So chocolate is always a good reward. Okay, so this activity is about trying to probe level 1 assessment. We will try to use different, you have seen the level 1 questions, so we'll try to use different assessment, but the main measurement here is about learning. There are many things to be measured in level 1, but we will concentrate on learning. What I need you to do now, we have 4 setups, 4 different setups. We have traditional classroom, that is normal. We all do traditional classroom, but we have also online classes or electronic classes, that is one setup. We have collaborative classes, that is another setup. We have flipped classes, and we have big classes, which involve the participation of 100+ students. So for each of those setups, educational setups, we have 10 assessment methods, 10 learning assessment techniques, LATs, learning assessment techniques. I will distribute the 4 setups. We are 5 groups, so one setup will be duplicated between groups, between 2 groups, and then you are supposed to read the 10 LATs, learning assessment techniques, and then after the time passes, after I say time is finished, you need to give me one of these 10s that you think it is the most easy to be applied and most straightforward. You can apply it easily without any problem. And then also you will tell me which one of those 10 are very difficult and challenging to be applied for the requested setup. So you will read them, you will discuss them, and then you will nominate one easy to apply, one difficult or challenging to apply from both the perspective of faculty and student. Okay, so we will start with the back group. Which one do you want to select? Okay, so which one? You have 4. You have online, collective, flipped, and online. So you'll choose the online. 10 methods of online, and it starts in page 7. Okay, in the back, online, flipped, collaborative, and large classes. So large classes, online classes, collaborative classes. Traditional is anything applies to the traditional. So you have to choose. So you choose flipped, collaborative. So flipped, nobody chose them. So you choose flipped classes. Ladies, which one do you want to choose?
Repeat what exactly?
You have online classes, you have collaborative classes, flipped classes, and large classes. Okay. So let us start according to the order that they are shown in the handout. So we'll start with the online classrooms. Again, I need to remind you that all these methods, the four classroom setups, all are applicable to traditional classrooms. So you may apply them to your classrooms, any of those setups. So who had the online? Online, okay. So can you tell me the number of the method that you find it much easy to apply? Which number is that? Number 4. So this is number 4 in page 9. Number 4 in page 9, which is digital story. If you have an online classroom and you want to evaluate, remember, this is only one aspect of level 1, which is learning. There are many aspects in level 1, engagement, participation, but you are only talking about learning. So you can use these methods to probe or gauge learning. So you feel that this method is very easy to use. Can you kindly summarize the method for us? Okay. So there is a concept, for example, or there is a term or a portion of material that you want to deliver. You either deliver to the students or you want them to study it, and then you want to gauge their learning. So you ask them to build a story, and they can use any digital content, audio, video, cartoons, anything, in order to assemble the story which revolves around the topic you want to deliver. This is very easy and very creative. Students find it very amusing. More specifically, nowadays, most of the students, they have social media, they have softwares that can do photo editing, that can do video editing, and it is only in the fingertip of or it's in their mobile. So it becomes much more easier to capture a story and publish it. They can put it in their social media networks, or they can send it to you through email. So this is one way of assessing learning, and it is fun, and it can be applied to either online classrooms or normal classrooms. Okay, what was the most challenging? Number 7. Number 7 on page number 10, which is application, which is, consider this. Students are given, let me just write it down, 7. So students are given theory or concept that they have been taught, for example, thesis statement, the scientific methods, or push-pull factors, and are challenged to figure out a way to apply it in a new and different context. Now, I think the challenge in this is that in order for them to apply it in a new context, they have to be experienced. For level 100 or level 200, this might be challenging because still they don't have enough information to think about applying or changing the context of application of what you are telling them and put it in a new context. This is one challenge. Another challenge, not all subjects, not all topics can be transferable or can be thought of or in different context. So in order to utilize this method, you have to think carefully about it. You have to think about the student's level and whether this will allow better engagement for the students or not. So being careful about applying the method is very important. Otherwise, instead of the method measuring the learning, it will create demotivation for the students. They will feel demotivated because they don't know how to solve what you want them to solve. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we go to the collaborative classroom. Now, online classroom is very obvious. It is a classroom that does not require physical attendance of the students. Collaborative classroom is classroom built entirely on the idea of teamwork. The learning happens through peer or team work. You design the classroom in such a way that each and every individual will help in reaching to the collective learning process of the whole classroom. So that's a type of collective classroom. So who got the collective classroom? Collaborative, sorry. Collaborative classroom. What method you find easy? So case study, which is on page 12. Number 3. So case study number 3, where students receive a real life scenario or case related to course content. These cases usually present a brief history of how the situation developed and a dilemma that a key character within the scenario is facing, and students are charged with helping the character develop a solution to the problem. So basically they will think of real case or real life cases, and they give solutions. The good thing about it is that it's an open-ended problem, so they don't have to come up with a predetermined solution.
They have a lot of interest developed because it is a real case.
Yes.
It is not the book reading some topics or like that, and they like it and love it.
And story is always lovable, you know. Everybody loves story. So when you tell them a story, they will always think, because it kind of humanizes the situation, they will think, they will put themselves in the place of that person, and this will make them relate to the issue and to the topic. So case studies are always favorable, and also they don't have one solution. You could test even the creativity and innovative of the students, to what extent they will be creative and innovative. The only problem, it is not just this method, all collaborative methods, the only problem that you might face is that one student will do the whole work for the whole team. So you have to design it in such a way to prevent this from happening by, for example, giving the students short talks. They can give short talks about the case. Each and every member of the group, they can stand up, talk for 2 minutes about their role in solving the problem. And this will reveal who have worked correctly and who have not.
What we know, we give a case of a patient with what the patient is feeling, what are his labs. So now we ask the student number 1 to develop your own learning outcomes.
Okay.
For this session. So they discuss with each other, two groups, and the number 1 step is, what do you want to learn from this?
Yes.
So they determine what they need to learn.
And then they will guide their own learning process. So you make them responsible for their own learning process. Okay. What was the most challenging assessment method in the 80s? Which number is it? Number 7, peer problem review. Peer problem review. In peer problem review, students each receive a problem, try to solve it, and then pass the problem and solution to the nearby students. The students who receives the problem and response then analyze and evaluate the solution. I think the problem here is sometimes the students tends to be judgmental, and this might apply pressure on the peers, you know. They start criticizing each other, or in the other way, in the other end of the spectrum, instead of criticizing, they will, you know, just say good things so that they don't lose their friends. So it's kind of, and it requires interference. You have to, if you want to apply it, you have to manage it in a good way. You have to indicate that The criticism is not for the person itself, it's just for the opinion. And as the time passes, as the people will have more idea, the problem will become much obvious. So the first person to give a solution will of course have limited time of exposure, while the last person will have many opinions, and more time exposure. So this also, the solutions are not similar. So you have to stress these things to make this assessment method much beneficial to the students. Okay, thank you very much. We move on to flipped classroom. In a flipped classroom, the term flipped means that the classroom is organized in a different way than the normal setup. For example, instead of learning and then doing the homework, they learn outside the classroom and come to the classroom to do the homework. Instead of the teacher being the instructor, the teacher will be the listener, the students will be the instructor, and so on. So anything that is done in a different way than the classical classroom is called flipped classroom.
By the way, are flipped classrooms applicable to all areas, to all specialization? I don't think so. For example, you are of the same background as us, engineering. Can you apply flipped classroom to your class?
I apply one technique of flipped classroom in the tutorial. I ask the students to solve the tutorial and I sit back and relax.
Actually, you made the background for the tutorial. You already gave them the theoretical and foundation part.
Yes.
Before you gave them the tutorial.
Yes.
So they don't study.
Yeah, but they don't come prepared because they don't know what questions I'm going to solve. So I just say, okay, who's volunteering? And then I encourage them by bringing some chocolates. I always have chocolates with me. So who's volunteering? And I say, okay, he's the one who will solve, but you all have to help him. So he's in the whiteboard, and he have the marker, and he's standing there looking at the problem. And I start to encourage him. I say, okay, what do you need to do? How do you do it? So he's doing the solution of the problem for the classroom. And I say, well, it is better that you come forward, because everybody in this classroom will stand up and solve a problem. And as the problems become, as we move on the problems, they become much more difficult. So they are all encouraged to start and come up at the beginnings because it's an easy problem. So that is one way of flipped classroom. It's not necessarily that the whole classroom and the whole session, the whole semester will be flipped. Okay, you can also give them some topics and they could explain the topics. You could do some jigsaw learning, you split the topics over the groups of students and each student will prepare. So anything that is totally different than the normal setup is called flipped classroom. Yes.
And we sit and discuss with them.
Yes.
And ask them in the feeling of this is called the flip.
Yes.
Because the students are now the one who explain, and I am in the audience side.
Yes.
I am asking the question for activity.
So not necessarily it will be in the whole semester for each and every. You could use it now and then. Sometimes you could sometimes you could sit and tell the students to take the lead. Tell them what do you want to learn today, how do you want to learn it, So just give the students the opportunity to do things in different way, because this breaks the norm of the continuation of the dull way of just lecturing and lecturing and lecturing. Okay, so who took the flipped classroom? Okay, which method do you find most challenging?
The most easy one we selected.
Sorry, the most easy, sorry.
Number one.
Which is guided reading notes. Number one, guided reading notes is that you give the students notes, your notes, but you omit some of the words. And then you tell them to read the lesson, or you deliver the lesson, and then they have to complete the missing words. They have to complete the missing word, and you test. Did they do for example, you give them a handout with 10 missing words. How many words out of 10 they managed to complete? And you could also, if you give them a sheet, you could also put the words as a help for them in the back of the sheet, so they can refer back and forth. So this is one way of evaluation. What was the most challenging? Number 10. On page 16. Number 10 on page 16. Okay, which is multiple task mastery checklist. Again, the problem with this checklist is that it requires some sort of preparation. It is not sociable for level 100 or 200, maybe 300. So it requires advancement, it requires advanced students who knows exactly what they are talking about. So that's the problem with this method. Okay. Now for large classes, we have two groups. Let's start with the gentleman. Which method do you find most easy to be applied? Number 4 on page 17. Free discussion. Number 4. Okay, in free discussion, small groups of students are formed quickly and to respond to course-related questions. Their discussion is an informal exchange of ideas, but students are assessed on their ability to participate effectively. Depending upon the class size, consider a variation in which students turn to a partner to talk instead of forming a groups. So you form small groups, they discuss the topic, and then you take from them. You could use a variation to this, a method called buzz groups. Buzz groups, you start with we start with two students discussing the topic and reaching to a consensus. And then these two students are merged together, and they will become 4, and then 8, 16, 32. So you merge them. It is called buzz group because during the discussion, the sound is like this. So that's why they call it buzz group. So you could start, and then the whole classroom will reach into consensus, and they are done in parallel form. Okay, which one is the most difficult? 8? Fifth, which is in the same page. Stand where you stand. Okay, the reason for that is if you have large classroom and you want to divide them, there will be lots of movements which sometimes, and then to bring them back to their chairs, it's also very difficult. Okay, that's the difficulty of that. Okay, ladies?
The easy one is number 8.
Number 8 on page 18. Okay. Okay. Comprehensive factor list. Students recall a list as many relevant factors as they can that are related. And by the way, there is a website that can help you do that. It's a website where the students can log on by their mobile phone and they start writing words, and the words will be formed in the screen as a cloud. And the cloud will increase according to the number of words that are written by the students. Okay, what was the most challenging? Number 3. Number 3 on page 17. Yes. So it is challenging. Then again, it is much more sociable for advanced students or postgraduate students. Okay, I would like to thank you very much for your participation, for your enthusiasm.